Level 1, the beginning. You're a cop, not a famous one, not a decorated one. A detective in the NYPD working the Bronx, supplementing your salary with side work where you can find it. One afternoon, you're at the Manhattan DA's office on unrelated business when you see a woman walking with her bodyguard. The woman is Marla Maples. She was married to Donald Trump until about a year ago. You look at the bodyguard. You're not impressed. You're a former Navy man, boarding team trained, built for physical work. You look at this man protecting one of the most famous women in New York City, and you think, I can do that. You ask around. An assistant DA knows Trump's people. He puts in a word. You get a 1-month trial. That was 1999. You don't know it yet, but you just applied for a job you will hold for the next 18 years. A job that will take you from the Bronx to the Oval Office. Level 2, the learning. The first thing you learn is that this is not the job you thought it was. You thought you were going to stand outside doors, check vehicles, watch crowds. You do those things, but that's not really the job. The real job is him. Donald Trump moves fast and unpredictably. He changes his mind about where he wants to go and when. He makes decisions in the moment and expects everyone around him to keep up. You learn his rhythms, what time he wakes up, what routes he prefers, when his energy is high and when it drops, what sounds make him look up. You become something that isn't quite a bodyguard and isn't quite an assistant. The title doesn't cover it. You are the person who is always there. Reporters ask questions and you say nothing. Strangers want access and you say no. Someone in a crowd gets too close and you handle it before anyone else processes what happened. Level 3, the closeness. By 2004, you're off the police force entirely, full-time, head of security for the Trump organization. Now you see everything. You travel with him. Fashion shows, golf tournaments, business meetings in cities you'd never otherwise visit. On every trip, you're the same distance from him. Trump in public is one version of a person. Big voice, commanding presence, the performance of a man who has never doubted himself in his life. You see him in the back of cars when no one is watching. You see him reading coverage of himself, good and bad, the way a man checks a wound. You see the moments before he walks into a room when he gathers himself, adjusts something internal, and becomes the thing people expect him to be. You see the anger, fast and specific. Something done wrong, someone who said the wrong thing, a schedule that didn't go the way he wanted. The people around him absorb it and say yes and move on. You don't absorb it. You're not there to agree with him or manage him. You're there to keep him alive. That distance, the distance between the job you have and the one everyone else has, is the thing that makes this sustainable. Level 4, the access. Campaign managers come and go. Senior advisors get hired, fall out of favor, disappear. You stay. One former campaign aide will eventually say that during the 2016 race, it mattered more to him what you thought than what the campaign manager thought. You're not a strategist. You're not a lawyer or a pollster or a communications director. You're a former cop from the Bronx who started out checking whether a woman's bodyguard looked competent, and you became the one thing in his world that didn't change. People learn to come through you. You become something with no name in any organizational chart. The first friend, level 5, the rally, 2015. The campaign begins. You've done big crowds before. Fashion events, boxing matches, the kind of New York nights that fill a room with money and noise. Trump rallies are not events. They're something closer to weather. Thousands of people in arenas, in aircraft hangars, in open fields, roaring, pressing forward. Your job in that environment gets harder. The crowd loves him. The crowd also contains, every single time, people who don't. You start scanning differently, not just for weapons, for faces, for the specific look of someone whose purpose is different from everyone around them. You eject protesters before they reach him. You position people. You watch the rope line where he stops to shake hands, the most exposed 2 minutes of every event. It never becomes routine. That's the part that surprises you. You think, after enough of it, you will stop feeling the edge. You don't. Level 6, the White House, January 2017. Your title changes. Deputy Assistant to the President, Director of Oval Office Operations. You're in the White House now. You sit in a room off the Oval Office, closer to him than anyone else in the West Wing. When he wants someone, you are the first person he sees. When something needs to be done quietly, you're the one he hands it to. The Comey letter. The one firing the director of the FBI during an active investigation into the president's associates. He gives it to you to deliver. You walk into FBI headquarters with a manila folder and walk out without it. You don't explain. Nobody asks you to explain. Whether that machinery is doing good things or dangerous things is not your department. You tell yourself that. Later, you will not be sure. Level 7, the friction. A new chief of staff arrives. General John Kelly, a man with a different idea of how a White House should run. Kelly's idea is structure, hierarchy, written reports, controlled access. You've had unrestricted access to Trump for 18 years. The chain doesn't include you. You stay 8 months after the inauguration. Then you leave. The official reason is financial. Government salary is half what you made before. And the thing that made you indispensable, the intimacy, the lack of distance, the fact that you were just always there, is exactly what the system considers a vulnerability. You return to private security. Your company gets consulting contracts. The money is better. You're no longer in the room. You don't know what to do with that. Level 8, the attempts. July 13th, 2024. Butler, Pennsylvania. You're not there. You left the White House in 2017. A gunman on a rooftop 130 meters from the stage. 8 shots. A bullet that grazes Trump's ear. 1 man in the crowd dead. 2 more critically injured. The footage goes everywhere. Trump crouching, then rising. Blood on his face. His fist in the air. You watch it. You know exactly what Curran felt in that moment. The half second when sound becomes information and information becomes movement. You know it because you prepared for that moment 10,000 times. It happened when you weren't there. A second attempt follows in September. A golf course, a rifle muzzle visible through the tree line. An agent spots it and fires. 2 attempts in 10 weeks. You think about what that means for the people who are there now. The permanent alertness that never turns off. You lived inside that for 18 years. You know what it does to a person. Level 9, what it costs. People ask what it was like. You give answers that are true, but not complete. You say, it was an honor. You say, he trusted me completely. 18 years is a long time to be someone's constant. To organize your life around another person's movement in safety and comfort. Your wife Lena was sick through years of it. An autoimmune disease, slow and serious. You came home from trips and press events and motorcades to a woman who was getting worse. She died. You were at Trump's side for most of the years she was ill. You don't talk about the math of that, what you gave to the mom and what you didn't give to her. Whether the accounting is something you can look at squarely. A man who worked with you will write a book. He'll call you the most important person on Trump's staff. He'll say your official title didn't cover what you actually were. The first friend. You read that and you think about what friendship costs, what it requires and what it takes. Whether being essential to someone is the same as mattering to them. Level 10, the weight of it. You're in your 60s now. The job is over in the sense that you no longer stand 3 feet from him every hour of every day. You notice things other people don't. You sit with your back to walls. You track exits. You see a crowd and your eyes start moving before you tell them to. 18 years of being responsible for a life leaves a mark that doesn't go away when the contract ends. You think sometimes about what you saw, the private moments behind the public performance, the anger and the fear and the ordinary smallness of a man who exists at the center of so much noise. Somewhere in 2024, watching the footage from Butler, you feel something that takes you a moment to name. It isn't relief that you weren't there, the feeling of a man looking at something he trained for his whole working life. That happened at the worst possible moment, while someone else was standing where he used to stand. You say, it was an honor, and it was, and also you gave it everything you had, and it still wasn't enough to protect everyone. That's the job. That's always been the job.